My never say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, or see them, yopo.
Party, in the meantime, has decided to expand the 3-member committee established to inquire into the matter to 7 members to enable the committee to conduct a more thorough investigations into the allegations. The General Secretary insisted that all candidates would face equal sanctions. Earlier, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and it continues here, of the Special Prosecutor invited Baba Jamal for interrogation. Now, he was released on self-recognizance bail following hours of interrogation on vote-buying allegations linked to the party's parliamentary primary. His lawyer, Victor Kojoga Adawudu, who confirmed this to Daily Graphic, added that Baba Jamal was also interrogated on an alleged assault on an officer of the OSP who was sent to submit an invitation letter to the parliamentary candidate. Counsel for Baba Jamal maintains that his client was not aware that items were being distributed in his name, adding that if he, being a lawyer, was aware, he would have told the people the position of the law. Kwesi, what do you make of this?
On the surface, it would appear that this is a very simple matter.
Okay.
But I'm led to believe that this is a very complicated, difficult matter to deal with. And listen, I've seen the report of the NewRevelation committee, and the report is damning. In fact, this morning...
You mean the Totobi Kwashi report?
Yeah.
Because NewRevelation has recused himself just as a Yariga.
This morning, I heard NewRevelation on radio speaking to the report, and what he said was mind-boggling. One, he admits that there have been infractions of the Constitution. The Constitution was violated. He goes on to say that what happened also contravenes the constitutional instrument guiding the conduct of such elections. And then he insists that what happened is not in sync with the philosophical outlook of the party,
right,
and so on. Now, if what happened is in clear violation of the law, then it is very risky putting up a candidate for this by-election, because even after the election, the results can be challenged on the basis that the primaries were, a violation of law. You understand? So that risk is there. But then there's another risk. The contestants in the elections are required to file nominations by tomorrow. Okay. So if the NDC were to annul the election results, it would be impossible to hold another primary and to file a candidate to contest the elections tomorrow, as is required by law. So that's another major challenge. Okay. Now here, there are options. Given the overwhelming majority of the party in Parliament, is it possible for the party to uphold principles and law and so on, and to sacrifice one seat? That's an option. So the party may decide to annul the results of the elections and accept the difficulty of not filing a candidate for the main elections, given the fact that it will not have any dramatic impact on the party's ability to work in Parliament. So that's an option that the party may want to look at. The committee also looked at the Constitution of the National Democratic Congress and came to the conclusion that there's no provision in the Constitution of the National Democratic Congress which empowers any organ of the party to annul election results of elections conducted by the Electoral Commission and certified by the Electoral Commission. So that's also a challenge. I mean, if the party were to annul the results of the elections, that could be subject to legal challenges, in the courts and so on. So these are the problems, the very difficult problems that need to be resolved. Then there is the issue of the claim that this is not new. I mean, vote buying started in 1992. And I've heard many people talk about how in 1992, strangers and kako and so on were distributed in the elections. So they claim that there's a long history of vote buying, bribery, and so on. But you see, that's a very weak position to take.
Okay.
Fact that something has happened before does not mean that it should continue to happen forever. Because if you went by that logic, then there would never be change in society.
Right.
Then we always go back to what we did before and continue to do it, and therefore there will be no any change in society. Again, it's important to recognize that over the years, the incidence of vote buying, appear to be increasing, and the quantum, of material which is being used to influence delegates is also growing. Indeed, when I listened to Alhaji Inusa Fuseni today, he claimed that every delegate went home with at least 10,000 Ghana cedis.
True.
That's huge.
But they confessed to themselves.
Yeah. That is what he said. He said every delegate went home with not less than 10,000 cedis. That is cash.
Cash, yes.
So they went home with 10,000 cedis in addition to other incentives like motorbikes, like sanitary parts, and so on and so on. Now that is a monumental, substantial increase from what happened in 1992, where people got a few cups of rice and so on, and kako and so on. This time, it's big, you understand? Now, this raises the question as to where the resources are coming from. Because imagine, if every delegate went home with at least 10,000 cedis cash plus motorbike plus 32-inch television sets and so on, you can imagine how much money went there. Now, the contestants, what work do they do? I mean, Baba Jamal is a high commissioner to Nigeria. What is his annual salary? And he hasn't worked for more than a year. What is his total annual salary? The widow, what does she do? Even big-time business people and so on, if they took that kind of money out of their investment, they could go bankrupt. So it raises the question as to where those resources are coming from. And indeed, whether or not those resources will be replenished. And if those resources will be replenished, how will they be replenished? And some have tried to establish a direct link between vote buying and corruption. And I think that it makes sense to establish, that link.
See, they've often explained that these monies that they get it through crowdsourcing. So somebody bring 10 cedis here, 20 Ghana here. That's what they tell us.
But that is not true. You know that is not true. I mean, all of us know that is not true. So don't let us go there at all. You understand? The point has been made that if we genuinely want to fight corruption, then we ought to take a look at this practice. Indeed, it was one of these NGOs which carried out a study, I think about 3 years ago, about how much one needs in order to be able to win parliamentary elections and to win presidential elections.
It's a CDD.
CDD.
Yes.
And the figures were shocking.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this does two things. One, it excludes persons who are honest, who are genuine, who have a clear commitment to national aspirations from contesting elections if their pockets are not full.
True.
And that's a danger to the democratic practice. Two, if people buy their way into power, their responsibility to community and so on is also reduced. because they bought it, you know, and so on. Now, for me, one of the biggest things that we need to change is the attitude, you know. I mean, I hear people say that, oh, we only gave them transport and feeding. So you hear that all the time.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. That assumes that the electorate is doing the elected a favor.
Yes.
Personal favor.
Yes.
It removes the essence of community engagement and community commitment and so on completely from the electoral process.
True.
You are helping the candidate, so he has to pay for the help that you give him. You understand?
Yes.
In which case, we cannot complain when our elected representatives fail to commit to community aspirations. You understand? And that's a very bad argument. I mean, yesterday I heard somebody, a very prominent politician, say that, oh, if the delegates had been given 500 cedis for their transport, there would be nothing wrong with it because that's what they all do. And I said, 500 cedis for transport in the Ayawaso East constituency. How is that? Were they going to the polling stations by chartered aircraft? Ayawaso East constituency, you know Ayawaso East constituency.
Walking distance to the polling center. You don't even need a
500
car.
cedis is as if they were going to the polling stations by chartered aircraft. You understand? So it is bad and it has to stop. But you see, there's another dimension which is interesting. In 1996, I contested elections. And on my campaign, I met a woman who demanded 5 cedis then for herself and 5 cedis each for her 3 children and husband. You know, and I said, Madam, why? You are not voting for me, you are voting for yourself. You understand? You should think about the conditions in the constituency as well. He said, look, that's what everybody has told us in the past.
Thank you.
They get elected, they don't deliver anything.
Yes.
If I take 5 cedis from you now, at least I've gotten something.
Yes.
Something is in my hand and so on. It does appear to make some sense. And I'm choosing my words very carefully. It does appear to make some sense. But you see, if you look at it from the point of view that that is a process of handing over your destiny to somebody for 4 years, then if you're going to charge for that, should it be 5 cedis? You understand? It's a whole process of handing over your destiny. This guy, this lady is likely to go into parliament and make laws that regulate your life, your complete life. And you think that by getting 50 cedis or so, you know, you are fine because at least you've gotten something in hand. So you've got to think about these things and so on. Now, the claim also that it has always happened is true. The levels may be different, but it's been with us for a very long time, at least since 1992. The problem is that it is becoming acceptable. It is becoming the norm. And the problem is that it's growing. It's growing, you understand? And before, it was hidden. You know, people gave monies, people gave television sets and so on, but they hid it. They didn't want it to be known. Now it's being done in our face.
It's brazen.
It's shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw videos, I'm sure all of you saw those videos of motorbikes being unpacked in their hundreds,
Yes.
openly.
Yes.
At a place that I originally thought was a polling station. You know. But when I listened to Inusa Fuseni today, he made the point that nothing happened at the polling stations. You know, but it was brazen. I mean, they were videoing it and posting it on social media. In the MPP presidential primaries, you saw the videos of delegates openly, they were not hiding, saying that they were waiting for their monies to decide who to vote for. You saw those videos.
Yeah.
It was not hidden. It's brazen. It's done in our face, you know, and that's a problem. Okay, that's a big problem. Now, there's been a lot of commendation for President John Dramani Mahama for his decision to recall Baba Jamal as High Commissioner of Ghana to Nigeria. But questions are being raised. That the action, some say the action came too late. And that in any case, at the time that he was recalled, having won an election, he was not going to go back to Nigeria anyway.
Yeah.
So it came too late and didn't make the necessary impact. But I've heard others say that even if it came too late, it is interesting that something has been done. I would want to see us move beyond the cosmetics and take substantial action. You understand? And moreover, let me veer off into this arena, which is not a very safe arena. But if we come and sit here in the morning, we have to do things which may not be pleasant. As we sit here, all of us know that there is some haggling among some prominent citizens or some prominent members of the National Democratic Congress to become the flag bearer of the party in 2028.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Yes, it's a fact. It's happening.
Are we going to deny that we don't know what they are doing?
And we see, what are they doing?
Well, they are buying influence.
Yeah.
Clear. Is anybody going to deny that? Okay? They are brazenly, while serving in government position today, as ministers and so on, brazenly declaring their intention to contest. They've set up groups which are going around canvassing for votes and so on.
They're on the ground. They're on the ground.
We know that. Why are we not, me, I'm not included. Why is the government not taking action today to stop this madness from continuing? That is absolute madness. That is absolute madness. You are a minister. You want to contest for presidential candidature in the future. You've declared it now, and you are still a minister. And you are still a minister. Obviously, everything you do as a minister will be skewed towards giving you advantage. That's unfair to other contestants. It diverts attention from the primary duty, primary responsibility of resetting Ghana now and so on. Some action needs to be taken immediately.
But Uncle, see, you know what the problem is?
What's the problem?
None of these ministers has come out to publicly state that they want to contest. It's just you can read minutes into their actions,
It's
which
not
is
true.
fine. To publicly state that they want to contest.
No, it's not true. When a minister is interviewed and is asked, well, we've heard that you are interested in contesting the elections as flag bearer and so on. And his response is that, am I not qualified? In any case, I leave it in the hands of God. That's a confirmation.
Good. So that's what the problem is.
That's a confirmation. What confirmation are you looking for?
Well, the person can argue that I haven't said I want to go now.
He must be assuming that we are all yo-yos, we are all fools. Because we are not. Unfortunately for him, we are not. You understand? We are not.
Okay.
And you see all the write-ups in the newspapers and so on, and it's clear that somebody is sponsoring it. Look, I've been in the media for a very long time.
Yeah.
I can tell a sponsored article from one which is genuinely authored by somebody.
True.
And you know one of the ways of finding out whether an article is sponsored? When you see one article without a byline,
Right.
and it's published word for word in so many newspapers, you know it is sponsored.
Right.
You don't need any special skills to dictate a sponsored article. And we see all the sponsored articles.
Right.
And some of them are so backward, it's unbelievable. I mean, last Monday I read one which says that the NDC must choose its candidate. I'm sure you've also read from the Ashanti region. And goes on to mention some names as well.
I saw Kujabonso's picture there.
I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
why this descent into regionalism and ethnicity? Why? And this is a party which says that its values abhor regionalism and ethnicity. And yet, its leading members who are serving in government are going out campaigning on this basis at the time when the party has said that those who want to contest should resign their positions 6 months before the time. They've started campaigning already. So something drastic must happen to restore sanity in government and in the National Democratic Congress. You understand? Because the trend I'm seeing is exceedingly worrying. I'm seeing a trend which is exceedingly worrying. Be that as it may, my understanding of the situation in the Ayawaso East constituency is that it is not over yet.
Okay.
And that even after the elections, it is possible that the results will be contested on the basis of the findings of the NDC's own internal committee of investigations, which stipulates clearly that there was a constitutional violation and a violation of the constitutional instrument guiding the conduct of the elections. But mind you, the committee raises one more issue, and it has to do with the legal capacity of the party.
Yeah.
And it poses the question, has the party have the legal capacity to annul an election which was conducted by the Electoral Commission and which results have been validated by the Electoral Commission?
It's only the Electoral Commission that can annul it.
Exactly.
Not the
so
party.
it raises that technical point,
Yes.
which is important for us to take into consideration in our analysis. You know.
I mean, you can apply sanctions to whoever may have misconducted themselves, but you cannot go to the extent of saying that, look, we have cancelled the whoever, or we have annulled the elections. You can't do that. Anyway, Collins, what do you also make of this?
Senior, good morning.
Apparently, you're all guilty, so if you know you're not guilty, throw the first stone.
Kwesi, I wish Kwesi started from where he ended.
Okay.
Because the truth of the matter, tomorrow, is that what happened at Ayawaso is not a complicated matter. It is a pure power play, simplicity. And anybody who knows what is going on within the NDC now, even for us in Parliament, when we meet our colleague members of Parliament, what happened at Ayawaso is a clear case of power play. And you know, this is a precursor to what is going to happen in the NDC in the lead up to their presidential primaries. Baba Jamal is a candidate. Kwesi, I know.
You're making a very serious allegation on a platform such as this.
I'm not making an allegation. Those who know what I'm talking about. And I'll tell you why. This election, if you listen to the grounds, Esidun Ketia just beat the establishment candidate. Period. Simplicity.
And who's the establishment candidate?
Oh, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'm coming. Listen, when I saw the president's statement, I started laughing. Then I saw the majority caucus statement. I even laughed even more. When they zoomed in on one particular candidate, I knew what was going to happen.
Oh,
take your time. I can read the president's statement.
Okay.
I have it here. When the president said,
I'm not obstructing you. I'm just reminding you to be mindful of the platform on which we are making such serious allegations.
I don't have any problem at all.
Okay.
How is it? When the president issued a statement and said he's recalling Baba Jamal because he's a public official. When the same presidency had appointed one of the contestants onto 3 boards, public boards. The same presidency has appointed one of the candidates onto 3 public boards. The president did not issue any statement to recall that other candidates from all the public boards. He zoomed in on one of them, and said that he is recalling that person. Too hypocritical. Then the presidency created the impression that it's against vote buying. Just some few months ago, we held election at the La Paz area. What's the name?
And that's what you
No, La Paz. When we went for the EC asked us to go for a rerun of about 10 of the polling stations.
Ablekumanos.
We had the regional minister, Greater Accra regional minister. You have the video. You've played it here before.
Yes, we have.
Openly on TV saying that vote buying is not an issue. And that if the MPP is accusing the NDC of vote buying, they can go and do same. The presidency did not issue any statement. Or the presidency did not sack the regional minister. But the presidency was telling us that they have seen allegations of vote buying. Because of that, one of the candidates, who is a public servant, has been recalled. But the other, who serves on 3 boards, should remain. Then, even the most shocking part is the statement from the majority caucus. They are calling for the annulment of the elections because of vote buying. And when I check the people who signed that statement, I laugh. In Parliament, you know, it was signed by the caucus chairs, regional caucus chairs. When you go to Parliament and you meet some of the caucus members, they are totally against that statement. 3 days to the election, the entire caucus went to visit the widow. And in one of the statements, I have it, I'll send it to you for you to play. Oh, we are waiting for you in Parliament. Who doesn't know that she was the establishment candidate? She was. That is exactly what happened. Now they go and form a committee. The committee then comes out and says, oh, Baba Jamal is clean. That has happened. They have cleared Baba Jamal. So the allegations, the statement from the presidency, the majority caucus, now the interesting part, that particular seat, you know, it's a safe seat for the NDC. It is very likely that Baba Jamal is going to win that seat. He's going to join the majority caucus. The same caucus that was calling for the annulment of that election and even calling for the banning of the candidates involved, he's going to sit with them. He is going to sit with them in Parliament caucus.
Well, what do you think would happen?
It's not what I think. The obvious is there for everybody to see.
But the majority doesn't have an option. They have to work with him. He's a member of Parliament.
What was the majority's locus in calling for the annulment of the election?
It's just an expression of opinion.
Which opinion is that?
As a group.
Which group is that?
That they think there's something wrong with elections.
What even killed me is when they wanted to create the impression that the NDC was different. And that the NDC is back to reset. They don't like vote buying. You know, Kwesi made an interesting point. If you go to social media, a lot of the think tanks began to praise His Excellency. This is different. This is the first time we are seeing something like this. That the president is not happy with vote buying. He's cracked the whip. The man has been cleared. He has been cleared by the political party that the president belongs to.
But Collins, if there's no evidence,
okay.
If there's no evidence,
so there's no evidence
that Baba Jamal was seen,
thank you,
gifting people stuff. How do you say the man is guilty?
So on what basis did the president write the letter?
No, it's a legitimate question.
On what basis?
No, I mean your question is a very legitimate question.
On what basis then did the president write such a strong-worded letter that he recalled him because he's a public official? When other members of contestants are serving on boards, appointed by the same president. Listen, the lady was the establishment candidate, period. A Sedun Kete's candidate is Baba Jamal. We know it. When you come to Parliament, we speak to ourselves. He beats them. Simplicity. They are simply not happy with the win. They wanted to do everything possible to annul it. When I saw the ground, the Zongo chiefs, for the first time, I saw Zongo chiefs of Nima warning the party to be very careful. If they try to annul the result, there will be chaos.
Yeah.
You saw it.
Yeah. We played a video this morning.
When I saw the Zongo chiefs, it tells you that the grounds is swelling. And I said, this is a precursor. We are waiting. You will see. Listen, in Akwetia, the by-election, among the NDC delegates, and it was open. You have the videos. Oh, maybe 4,000, maybe 5,000. The president didn't write a letter. The party didn't write a letter to annul the results or to investigate. It was normal. But when pressure came from the top, then everybody started panicking. I knew this investigation would not lead to anywhere. I knew.
Oh.
This investigation. I knew in the long run, Baba Jamal will be cleared. And he has been cleared. And he will be cleared. Because the chairman of the party is with him. He has been cleared. So that hypocritical statement from the majority caucus, claiming as for them they are saints, and that they don't like what happened there at all. This is not part of the reset. And let me mention the names of those who signed the letter.
Oh, but we know.
Let me, if I mention you.
Okay. All right.
No problem.
Or you don't want me to mention. Number one, Honorable Alhaji Collins Dauda. Collins Dauda is telling us now that he doesn't like vote buying. He hates vote buying.
Yes, he does. Why?
As if you don't know what happens in this constituency.
Well, have you seen him buying votes?
Please. You see,
have you seen him buying votes?
Today, I like Kwesi's ending, where he said, let's not be hypocritical. If this is the beginning of for all of us to look at the issue differently, fantastic. But nobody should create any impression. Nobody should create any impression that this government is different. In fact, the verdict, the conclusion by the NDC committee in itself is enough to tell us that nothing different has happened. Back to the status quo. Because we all saw what happened at Ayawaso. You've been showing it just now. People holding televisions. Let me mention the other names of the members. Honorable Muhammad Bawa Brahima. Honorable Vincent Opon Asapa. Honorable Krista Pokia Soya. Honorable Joseph Apiabuate. Honorable Alfred Oko Bangaman Vanderpool. Oko Vanderpool. Honorable Bandim Abednego Azuma. Honorable Ahasa Umar. Honorable John Bless Oti Bless. Honorable Andrew Derry Chiwete. Honorable James Agaga. Honorable Sebastian Sandari. Oscar Labi. Isaac J. Mensa. Emmanuel Kwesi Bedra. Dominic Napari. All these people are telling us that they've never seen any vote buying. All of them were on the ground at Ablekuma. All these people, they were on the ground with us at Ablekuma. When the regional minister was bold to tell all of us that they are buying. If you think you want to buy, go and buy. The president didn't take action. So for me, if the overriding principle, the idea, is to help sanitize the system, so be it. But nobody should create any impression that this is part of the agenda, resetting. Nothing has happened. We are back to square one. Honorable Baba Jamal is the candidate. I am confident based on the historical records. He is going to win. If he wins, he will come and join the majority caucus. That wrote a letter to annul his election. It will be an interesting scenario.
How was he?
Well, first of all, it is interesting that somebody of the stature of my colleague here, Colin, is actually predicting the outcome of the Ayawaso East elections. And he's saying that no matter what happens, Baba Jamal is going to win.
Based on the historical, as I said, based on the historical data.
It's a safe
Every prediction is based on historical data. So it is interesting that even as your party is telling us that he's going to contest the elections, and as your possible candidate is insisting on winning the elections, you are predicting an apparent comfortable win for Baba Jamal. That's very interesting. Okay. Now, the other thing is that you have claimed that Baba Jamal has been cleared. I'm wondering where that is coming from. Because I just told you about the report of the committee as declared by Alhaji Yusuf Hussein. There's no clearance of Baba Jamal. In fact, when I listened to Alhaji Yusuf Hussein this morning, his claim is that only one candidate did not engage in vote buying. And according to him, the candidate who did not engage in vote buying is the one who got only one vote. And I heard that this morning. So Baba Jamal has not been cleared, as it were.
But Kwesi, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. You know, I normally don't do this.
No problem.
This is City Online. Baba Jamal cleared by NDC probe committee to contest Ayawaso East elections.
Please read it again.
Yes. Baba Jamal cleared by NDC probe committee to contest Ayawaso East.
But you know that what you're doing is not correct. Now let me explain to you.
Why is not correct?
What this headline is saying is that he's been given the green light to contest the elections.
Yes.
It doesn't say that he was not engaged in vote buying. So don't confuse that.
No, Kwesi, okay, when you finish. When you finish.
Okay,
when you finish.
Now, they've cleared him to contest according to the party because they don't have enough time to organize a new primary and to get a new candidate to go and contest that elections. But as far as the vote buying allegations are concerned, he has not been cleared. I mean, that should be very clear. So don't depend on headlines. Headlines don't tell the full story.
Okay.
No problem.
So obviously, let me just read this. Let me just read this just to enrich your submission. So I'm looking at the recommendations and conclusions, the committee's work. 1. Having examined the evidence before us, including video footage, candidate statements on the public record, and submissions from all aspirants, the committee is satisfied that widespread inducement and vote buying took place during the Ayawaso East parliamentary primary of 7th February 2026. Now, these practices were not confined to a single campaign. Multiple aspirants engaged in the distribution of material goods and financial inducement to delegates. We note, however, that issues related to Honorable Baba Jamal were the most extensively documented by virtue of his statement and his status as a serving public officer. 2. It is important to state at the outset that our findings are institutional in nature. They are not directed at the character or long-term commitment of any individual aspirant. All the candidates are valued members of our party who have contributed in various ways to its growth and electoral success. The issue before us is not one of personalities but of process. 3. The distribution of items such as motorcycles and television sets to delegates on the day of a primary is by its very nature an act of inducement. It is neither necessary nor reasonable to suppose that such gestures have no effect on human conduct. The natural and foreseeable response to the receipt of a material benefit in the context of a decision is that it influences that decision. These inducements automatically created conditions that undermine the perception and integrity of a level playing field. Now, this committee does not suggest that every delegate who received such items was bought, nor do we impugn the integrity of the many who voted on genuine conviction. However, it is reasonable and unavoidable conclusion that gifts of this character and scale given directly to the voters prior to or in the course of ongoing elections were sufficiently substantial in nature to be construed as inducement. Now, the act of offering such inducement is in itself a breach. It needs not be demonstrated that each individual recipient changed their vote. 4. The assertion that vote buying and inducement during elections are historical precedents and that Ayawaso East primary should therefore be exempt from scrutiny is immaterial to the core issue. A political tradition is distinguished as ours. A political tradition as distinguished as ours must periodically reflect and recalibrate. Concerned members across all levels of party have voiced grave apprehensions, and it goes on and on. Now, accordingly, the committee is of the view that the integrity of the process could best be protected by nullifying the results of the Ayawaso East constituency primaries. We recognize, however, that this recommendation carries significant legal and practical implications, including the fact that the NDC's constitution does not contain provisions for the annulment of elections. The Ayawaso East primaries was supervised and results certified by the Electoral Commission. The Commission's deadline for filing the party's candidate for the March 3 by-election is imminent. The determination of the appropriate course of action ultimately rests with the functional executive committee or the national executive committee, for that matter, acting within the party's constitution in consultation with relevant authorities. We are acutely aware of the time, resources, and goodwill invested by all aspirants, as well as the over 1,000 delegates who participated in good faith. Any decision taken will affect committed by party members who acted out of loyalty and conviction. It is therefore imperative that whatever course is adopted be clearly communicated as a step forward, as a step towards strengthening the fracturing of the party. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily say Baba Jamal has done something wrong or right, but it says all of them are guilty except for one person.
Yes. So that confirms the position that I've taken.
But he's been cleared to contest.
Yes.
Well, not necessarily cleared. Not necessarily cleared. So it's almost as if to say, even if you're guilty, right?
Under the
circumstances, you just go ahead. But they'll take the appropriate sanctions later. That's what I get from that.
And the sanctions will go to another.
Remember, they've expanded
after the general election.
They have expanded the committee membership from 3 to 7 to do a more thorough investigation.
Exactly.
I think it would be after that we'll know who exactly is guilty and who's not.
And in fact, you see, technically speaking,
yes,
if the NDC does not file a candidate tomorrow, the NDC
they cannot contest elections.
They have lost that seat.
Yeah.
Which Collins predicts will be won by the NDC. Okay. Now, if the NDC files a candidate tomorrow, whether it is Baba Jamal or not, it wins the seat. 2 weeks after that, if the NDC dismisses the candidate,
if you know you're not guilty, throw the first stone.